Hello guys, today I will be showing you how to make a test server. It will work as a public server if you do all the port forwarding and stuff, but sadly I will not be showing you how to do port forwarding in this tutorial, but I will give you a link to it if you want. Anyways, you can start out by creating a regular folder, not a .rar, not anything, just a regular folder. You can name it whatever you want. In this case I'll just name it RevolutionCraft and open it, obviously. And the first thing we need to do is create a .batch file. I already created a little example for me to run off of, just because it makes it a lot easier for everybody. Anyways, open up your Notepad++. If you don't already have it installed, this will be a good time to pause and look at the description, because there's a download link in there. Anyways, once you open up your Notepad++, click New, and then type in this code. If you need to look at the code again, it is in the description, just to make it a lot easier on you guys. Anyways, do Save As, click on Desktop, or go to File, Save As, then click on Desktop, and scroll down to the file you created. The name is relevant, just pointing that out. Then double click on the file, open it up, and you can name it anything you want. In this case, I'll just name it Run, because it runs your console. And this is probably one of the most essential parts. Never ever make it another file extension. It has to be .bat, or it will not open as a console. It'll just be whatever you set it. Anyways, click on batch file. It's at the top. Click on that, then click save, and it'll turn colors, and it will be created inside of your folder. And the next thing we need to do is we need to put the general basis, or what your server will be running off of, into the file. There is a link in the description if you don't want to do a giant search in the internet for it, and just download that. Anyways, once you have it inside of your folder, don't get worried, the name will be a little bit different. Just right click on it, rename, and rename it CraftBucket. That is also necessary, mainly because in the batch file, see here where it says craftbucket.jar, that is technically this file. Anyways, just make sure it's a .jar and it's named CraftBucket. After that, double click on Run. Once you double click on Run, the console will pop up. Never ever press the X button. You might think it's taking too long, but it's not. It's perfectly normal, because as you can see in the folder right here, it is just creating all the files. It's building the worlds, so it's basically building field chunks in each one it's building the worlds, just so when you connect to the server, you're not in the Skylands, you're on actual ground. I do admit it will take a little while, but not too long. Just really don't press the X, nothing's wrong, it does take a while. Aside from that, I forgot to point this out earlier, you need to have Java 64 or Java 7 64-bit. I'll put the link in the description too. With that, assuming I'll just make it a direct download, just double click on it, and it will go to the Oracle website or whatever, and just download it. And once you do that, you will be able to double click on the run, and it will work. This part will show up. Otherwise, I'm assuming it'll just give you an error or something, and it just won't work. So Java 7 64-bit is necessary for any of this to work. Anyways, once it says done, that means all of the files have been created, and it is now safe to stop it. So just type in stop. Nothing else, no slash before it. If you have prior experience typing in commands or something, just type stop, press enter, and still don't press the X button. Just ignore the X button. It should never ever be pressed when you're dealing with servers, and wait a little while. Once again, it is perfectly normal that it is taking a little while. Just wait a little while, and it will eventually finish, and it'll say, press any key to continue. And, well, like it's saying now. Once it does that, press any key, and you will have a fully built server. If you know what you're doing, technically you could end the tutorial right now and just double click run the started, but otherwise keep watching. Anyways, right click on server, open this with Notepad++, and this isn't really a file that it's a very essential file, mainly because it has a lot of the core settings on it. But anyways, never edit server port and never edit server IP. It is very important that you don't do this if you want to keep it as a test server. Basically, don't edit it unless you absolutely know what you're doing. Anyways, this is your MOTD. This is basically what you will be creating the server with, of sorts. It's I phrase that weird. It's the little name under your server. It basically tells it. So I'll just name it test server. If you didn't understand me, you'll see what it is later. Just click the save button right there, and then click close, and you can exit out. This is your bucket file. Don't edit the files that you don't know what they are. For example, if you have no clue what this stuff is, your database, don't touch it, because you could fugger up your files. It is not a thing to be played with. Anyways, this is just your server close message. For example, if you were to type /stop or /restart, or if you were to stop it, this is what would pop up. Just click save, then close, and then you're generally done. You don't even have to edit those files if you don't want to. But do remember, don't edit the port or the IP address. It is not something to play with unless you know what you're doing. Anyways, it should take a lot shorter to open up the console, saying that you already created all your files. Anyways, once all your files are created, it will open up, and make sure you do not close it. Just because it says done doesn't mean you can type /stop or you can press the X button. Oops. It doesn't mean you can press stop or press the X button. It will, your server basically, it won't be running anymore. Anyways, at this point, you can open up your Minecraft, and for me it takes a lot longer to render than the old console for some reason. I actually, in most points of view, I would prefer this console. Actually, it rendered pretty fast. Usually for me it takes 10 minutes or so for it to open up. Aside from that, open up your console, or open up your game, and go through the basic steps, click on multiplayer, and then go to add server. And I already created one just because I tested this whole setup just to make sure I was 100% correct on this. And anyways, type in localhost. Type in localhost, and then click done. And as you can see here, it would say test server. That is the thing I typed in on server, down in the files. Anyways, double click on it, and it will log in. If it takes too long or something like that, just don't worry. I guess you might have a slow computer or something. But anyways, just log into this. It will throw you in whatever map it generated, and you are in some terms on your server. For example, see here, it actually says my username because I am on my own computer, or I'm on my own server. Anyways, if you get spammed with these messages, it's either because your computer just cannot handle, running a Minecraft server, sadly, or it means you have too many background programs enabled or on. For example, I have Minecraft, I have a server running, and I have Skype. If you have the same setup as me, just, close down Skype, and in most scenarios, that message wouldn't pop up. But I guess if you have a good enough computer, you could probably run, 100 programs in a server at the same time, and you'd be fine. But if your computer can't handle it, and you really need a test server, just close down as many background programs as possible, and it will be faster, I assure you that. Anyways, in the next tutorials, I will show you how to install plugins and just do general things with your server. And for now, I guess this is the end of the tutorial. Once the next video is up, I will put a little link to the next video in the top left corner. Anyways,